a new experience, the Presley for a Day Tour experience. It's an exclusive tour. It's limited to 8 people per day, and it offers a bespoke experience with unprecedented access to some of the Presley family's most beloved places on the Graceland grounds. Elvis Presley Enterprises has just announced that new exclusive tour, and proceeds will contribute to the estate's ongoing commitment to preserve, protect, and enhance the grounds. So what does that mean? That means launching September 6th, Presley for a Day, limited to only 8 guests per day, will provide access to some of the Presley's family's most beloved places at Graceland for the first time since it opened to the public. You'll have the opportunity to enjoy the family's favorite activities with golf cart rides around the grounds, a photo op with the horses, a guided walkthrough tour of the home's front pasture, a high-end dinner in the newly renovated Mariah's house, which offers stunning views of Graceland's landscape. It's a 7-hour experience at Graceland. For a group of up to 4, 2 groups per day, so 8 max total for the day. You get personalized concierge service to experience as you arrive, a personal tour guide throughout the experience, guided tours of the Memphis Entertainment Complex and Elvis's airplanes with a dedicated guide, exclusive photo ops, white glove artifact experiences, golf cart transportation. You'll be chauffeured around Graceland on a golf cart by the guide, a stable tour and horse experience, a guided walk on a horse through Graceland's front pasture. You're on a horse! In Graceland's front pasture, and a photo op with the horse at the Graceland Mansion as a backdrop. And access to Mariah's house, and he's got something to say about that, so I'm gonna save that. An exclusive dining experience, a high-end meal at Mariah's house, stunning views of Graceland from the enclosed deck. After hours Graceland Mansion tour. After the meal, a guided after hours tour throughout the mansion with exclusive photo ops. An exclusive swag bag, items exclusive to Presley for a Day tour guests, and this is all being announced. You will be invited to also stay like a Presley at the guest house, a specialty suite package offering personalized service. So many things to learn and find out about, but here's the top line. If you want to be a Presley, this is the way to do it. Presley for a Day, an experience that's going to be starting in September, right here at the mansion on September 6th. To tell us more about that and about some other things that he's got planned for the future, the managing partner of Elvis Presley Enterprises, Joel Weinshanker. Someone has been very busy dreaming up what we can do and to make our experience an even better experience here. Joel, welcome to the stage, and the Elvis fans anxiously await to hear.
I always get in trouble when I do this. So I now have an almost 9-month-old baby who, when I do something that she doesn't like, she just gives me the side eye. And it wasn't the first time I've ever seen it, because it's what I get from Jack and Regina and Angie and everybody when I tell things I'm not supposed to. But though I don't drink, I'm probably a little drunk with everything so wonderful at Elvis and Graceland, so I'm probably going to tell you all a lot of stuff. The first thing that I can tell you is that when I've been talking to everybody about this week and about how everything's going, people are saying it's amazing. The audience is, everyone coming here is so happy. We've seen so many new faces. And what I'm really trying to do over the next several years, what I've been trying to do since day one, but what I've really been trying to do, what I'm really going to be trying to do over the next several years, is listen to the Presleys. And the one thing that I would often get, and so much tragedy, and that Lisa would tell me, it was very difficult after Ben passed away. And you have to remember, Ben passed away in the middle of COVID. So I remember trying to get all of these things done so that Ben could have a proper burial. And when Lisa could finally come, it was so there was so much death here. There was so much. When I go in, I don't, it's my home, but I also see so much death. And then obviously when Lisa passed away, I think Riley felt the same way. And I really felt empowered and even re-empowered to make the mansion grounds a living place, to bring back the life of when Elvis was there. Because every day there were people coming, running, people playing football, people riding horses. You know, the story, we shared a story about, Elvis, when Elvis first started riding, and if he rode for 45 minutes, someone told him he had to walk the horse afterwards, so he walked the horse for 45 minutes. But that's a great story, and that's just Elvis. Elvis wanted to make sure that his horse was okay. And a lot of the things that we're going to do, in 3 years from now, it will be the 50th anniversary. And we are going to be announcing things and doing new things every 3 or 4 months. Something especially on the mansion property, on the grounds. Some things people are going to be able to experience, some things they're not going to be able to experience, but everything is going to really elevate who we are, what we're here to do. It's about Elvis's legacy. Everything that we do is what would Elvis do. And as some of his biggest fans, what I would ask you all to always do is spread the gospel of Elvis. Because it's so important, especially in these times. If you think about all the things going on in the world, the one thing that Elvis would never do is yell at his neighbor or look down at his neighbor because he had a slightly different point of view. So what I ask you all to do is think about that. If you're having a situation, if you think about anything you're thinking about in the world, if you're watching TV, which I try not to do anymore, just think about what would Elvis do. And what I would tell you he would do is he would always come to his neighbor. He would always say, I may disagree with you, but I respect you. And I think we need to be doing more of that, but what we're going to be doing at Graceland is really, the Elvis tour, they Live Like a Presley, what it's really designed for, it's an expensive tour, absolutely, because it's so limited. But we're not making any profit from it. We're taking every single dollar. First of all, we're donating $400 from every tour to local Memphis charities. And that's not something that's difficult to think, why would we do that? Because that's what Elvis did every year. He took a percentage of his, his tithing. He took a percentage of his, the money that he made. And you can see the hundreds, if not thousands, of checks in the Presley Family Museum about what he did every Christmas. And we're just trying to emulate that. That's an easy thing. That's something to do for our neighbors. We're going to be giving them to people on the left and people on the right and people in the middle. We're going to be giving them to good people who do good things for the community. And that was ever so important to him. And the rest of the money is going to, Mariah's house is an interesting story. I've been to Graceland 1,000 times. Y'all, I'm sure most of you have been to Graceland a lot. I never knew it existed. So if you're thinking about what it is, if you come from the stables coming to the racquetball building, there's a small building that was a small stable that actually housed Lisa's horse, Mariah. That we're going to be using as an outpost. There's going to be barbecue, there's going to be all of these things, but it was used for storage. It smelled like some animal's pee that I was told. When my wife was actually fortunate enough, she actually got to ride Reno. That's one of the new horses that this morning. So when I was talking to people in the stable, they're like, it smells a lot better. So, but it's just one of many things that we're going to be doing to enhance the property, to enhance the experience, to make it more lively. Count of hands, how many people are coming back for when Riley's doing her book? So those of you not, it's going to be an amazing experience. Lisa worked for a long period of time on her autobiography that she was unable to finish, but came close to finishing before passing. And Riley took that up, completed the book. And it's going to be a tremendous release. October 9th, I believe it's released. If you buy it from Graceland or on Graceland.com, you get a hand-signed lithograph from Riley that comes with the book exclusively at Graceland. And if you all remember when we released the gospel record, that was 5 or 6 years ago, 7 years ago? I'm very bad with time. We got Lisa to actually sign a lithograph, and I'm sure every one of you that have that, it's a cherished piece that you have. So, definitely something to come back for. The book is, it's absolutely an amazing journey, an amazing experience. Lisa was, Elvis's legacy was Lisa. I mean, he left everything to her. He wanted her to be the future. He said, very clearly said the best thing I've ever done in my life was Lisa. So now Riley is really taking that on, and Riley is an extraordinary, not only actress, director, producer, but an extraordinary human being. She, again, is solely focused on what is best for Elvis's legacy. We don't have conversations on, well, this doesn't really seem organic, but we can make an extra $1, because that's not the conversations we have here. We really have here, here's what we need to do. Now, how do we make enough money to do it? We look at it very much the opposite. All the obligations that we have, all the things that we want you all to see, how do we make sure, even during COVID, when we couldn't have anybody here, how do we make sure that we keep everything up, we elevate everything, and we just keep it coming? So, the tour that comes in September, the book tour that's coming in October, this is the first part of our road to 50, which is going to culminate in 2027. We're going to have most likely 3 to 4 new buildings on the mansion property between now and then. We're going to be announcing those. They're going to be doing things that Elvis would have done, some of the things that Elvis designed himself. There's going to be at least 1 new movie between now and then, possibly 2. There's going to be, Baz Luhrmann is working on a documentary. Sorry, guys. They don't trust me with anything anymore because of this. So, there's most likely going to be a streaming. There's going to be something that's really special coming out next year, starting in London, that will allow you to actually come into rooms that Elvis was in and actually interact with all of these. Think of something that Elvis really wanted on property, like a recording studio. I'm pretty much certain that there will be a recording studio on mansion property, which is something that not only did Elvis always want, he designed. So, there is in our archives architectural drawings for that. So we're going to continue to do things. You don't need to clap for me. Okay? I know there's so much love in this room. I get it. So, but the whole key here is really, in a world of such quick change, everything has changed. Movies, music, things are so disposable. If you think about it, Elvis is one of the few things from the middle of the 20th century, from 50, 75 years ago, that's still incredibly relevant. When you have, I'm sure you have friends who say, oh, Frank Sinatra was this and Frank Sinatra was that. Frank Sinatra was a great crooner. But, he doesn't matter today anymore, and that's just a statement of fact. If you look at all the people, you looked at the movie stars, outside of Charlie Chaplin, how many people can name a movie star from before 1960, 1970, and even from then? It's everything so disposable, but the greatness, the revolutionaries, the reason that I always wanted to be involved here is because Elvis was a revolutionary, like Da Vinci, like Mozart, like Beethoven. Elvis was a revolutionary. Everyone who came after was an evolutionary. Most of them, the great ones, admitted it. Lennon and McCartney admitted it. All the other great ones that came after him because of what Elvis did. Michael Jackson, all of these people paid homage, said, without Elvis, I wouldn't exist. So it's really important for us to keep that legacy too. It's the easiest drug in the world to sell. You just got to show somebody one thing once, and so it's not hard. But we do count on y'all to help us do that. So we had an amazing movie. Those of you last night saw, and again, it's not something. Once somebody's involved in our universe, be it a famous musician, a famous actor, they never leave because they get that feeling. They get, they know the gravitas of what they've been part of. So we're just going to keep on doing these extraordinary things that really keep on elevating Elvis. Everyone has my email, and some of you use it often. So if there's anything you think that we're doing wrong, it's always us looking back to what Elvis would want, what Elvis would do. A lot of the people who come, a lot of the performers who come, a lot of Elvis's friends who come, these are the people that I count on. And if you look at some people who aren't invited, maybe it's because, very frankly, and some of that is me, and I'll put it on me, is just because I'm looking for the true statements. I'm looking for the people who, and again, I do not have anything negative to somebody who needs to earn a living, but I don't want anyone earning a living on things that Elvis didn't want and didn't say and didn't do. I don't always get it right. If I was perfect, I'd be Elvis, and I'm not. But we do our best every day and every night and trying to figure out what that perfect thing to do is. And I'm often asking the people that you've been seeing on stage, seeing at the hotel, you start with Jerry Shilling, Larry Strickland, who even after a great tragedy, and Naomi was such a beautiful human being, comes here. And he said to me last night, I don't think he would mind me saying, as long as I can sing, just please let me keep on coming back. And my response to him was, Larry, even when you can't sing, just lip sync. You're welcome here. I said, you want to stay here for a month, stay in the hotel for a month, whatever you want to do, we want you here because, and especially a number of the gospel singers were just some of the great ones. I was so blessed to have produced, that record with Lisa and have Lisa do a duet. And I remember, I will not say which one of the singers it was, but I did a little documentary for myself and, filmed and interviewed all of the singers. And one of them said to me, Elvis was the only person who never judged me. I did a lot of bad things in my life. I did a lot of things that I regret, but the only person who never abandoned me, who never judged me, was Elvis. And that's the thing, I guess he said it best. That's what I want you to do with everybody in your community, with every, all these Facebook groups where you're yelling and screaming at each other. All these things that, Elvis, I've had people from people who have never met Elvis to people who are very close to Elvis tell me Elvis would be so upset with you. Yeah. And I'd respond, why? Tell me why. Let's have that conversation because I want to understand something I might not understand. But if you're telling me Elvis would be very upset with me because I'm not letting you earn money off his name in a way that's negative, I don't agree with you. So, the story I'll leave you with, and some of you may have heard this, was, I came here the first time, I believe, in 1992. I was managing bands, then I had a very successful band that played the Mid-South Arena, that's very close to here. And someone said, hey, would you like to take a VIP Elvis tour tomorrow morning? We said, great, but we need to be in Nashville by noon. So we got in, I want to say 8:30 in the morning. I was the first person off the bus. I was a cocky kid, I was very successful, very young. I walk in the door and Aunt Delta starts screaming at me because she hated people coming early. She was properly dressed with a cigarette, and I'm not a person, I don't know what comes after this life. I live my life in a way that no matter what comes after this life, I can hold my head up and I can defend my life. I can show that I've respected people and I've respected everything that I've ever done. But twice in my life, I've had someone talk to me. And when I was at Graceland, the voice that I heard said, protect her. And that was it. And I didn't know what it meant. And 21 years later, I was able to, in a not easy way, take over the majority of Graceland when my partner's Authentic Brands Group, when we bought the estate, I bought the majority of Graceland. And honestly, everyone looked at Elvis's song publishing. They looked at his, the ability to license, and they said, that's the jewel. And I said, you're all crazy. Graceland's the jewel. And I thought, when I was able to do that, and I had to borrow a lot of money in uncomfortable ways, the same thing I had to do to build the hotel. When we built the hotel, no bank in the country thought it was a good idea for us to build a 4-diamond hotel in Whitehaven. And I literally had to guarantee everything in my life, including my house, for them to put together a loan to do it. And obviously, it's now the #1 ranked hotel in Memphis. To me, I didn't like it was hard for me to stay a long time in Memphis before the hotel was built. And now it's the easiest thing in the world. But when I was able to, I thought for sure that my job was to protect Graceland. And then I met Lisa, and that all changed. And what I'd come to understand is to protect Graceland really meant to protect Lisa. and to protect Elvis's legacy. That if we do those things, Graceland's going to be fine. So I thank you all for coming. I thank you all for treating our really hardworking employees. Anybody you see with the staff shirt, say thank you. They do a tremendous, amazing job. You know, I've asked people, hey, what can we do better this year? And what I'm getting back is nothing. It's been great. So thank you for coming. Be careful out in the heat, and have a great rest of your time here. Thank you.